In this problem, I need to find all the other trigonometric function values of theta, given that tangent of theta is equal to the square root of 15 and theta is in quadrant 3. So I'm going to start this problem just like I do many problems in trigonometry, which is identifying what is x, what is y, and what is r. And once I have those, then I'm pretty home free. Now, we have two pieces of information about theta. We know that the tangent of theta is the square root of 15, and we know that theta is in quadrant 3. And I'm going to start off with the information about the quadrant, because what that tells me is that x is a negative value and y is a negative value. So I want to get that in right away before I forget about the signs and I just make everything positive, because I just kind of default to positive. All right, so now we have that. I don't know what the numbers are, but I do know that they're both negative numbers. Now the tangent of theta equals the square root of 15, and since this is not a fraction already, I'll just make it a fraction by putting it over 1. And we know that the ratio for the tangent function is y over x. So we have y is the square root of 15 and x is 1. But x and y are both supposed to be negative. And that's okay, because a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. So just making both of them negative works out. So x is a negative 1, y is the negative square root of 15. And now I can find out what r is, because r is just equal to the square root of x squared plus y squared. So I'm going to write r squared equals negative 1 squared plus negative square root of 15 squared. Negative 1 squared is 1. Square root of 15 squared gives me 15, and the negative obviously goes away. So r squared equals 16, which is great because that makes r equal to 4. And remember that r has to be positive. You don't have a choice with r. R has to be positive every time. X and y can be negative or positive, but r is always positive. So now that I have x, y, and r, and I just cleaned up my work so that we can really see these values, now I'm ready to find all the other trigonometric function values of theta. All right, so let's start with the sine of theta. Sine of theta is y over r, so I have negative square root of 15 over 4. And then I'll just keep going with the rest of them the same way. Cosine is x over r, so I have negative 1 over 4. Cotangent of theta is x over y, or we can say it's the reciprocal of tangent. So that's 1 over the square root of 15. Now I have a radical in the denominator, and you can either leave this here as your answer, or if you like, you can multiply the top and bottom by square root of 15 and get square root of 15 over 15. So I would take either of those answers. They're both good answers. Secant, that's the reciprocal of cosine, so that's a negative 4. And cosecant is the reciprocal of sine, so this is a negative 4 over the square root of 15. And again, I would take that as an answer, or negative 4 times the square root of 15 over 15. So either of those would be good answers. And that's the end of that problem.